Blake Lively, a name that's become synonymous with elegance, wit, and Hollywood royalty. Over the years, she has crafted an image that balances the glitz of the red carpet with the quiet strength of a devoted mother, wife, and passionate creative. She's known for staying grounded in an industry that rarely allows peace. But even the most composed stars have moments when things go too far, and recently for Blake, that moment came in the form of a shocking roast on live television. It happened during a Saturday Night Live episode that nobody saw coming. What was meant to be a clever parody turned into something much more, cutting a segment that zeroed in on Blake's public persona, her legal decisions, and her deeply personal journey as a celebrity trying to protect her privacy. The audience at 30 Rock may have laughed, but the reaction behind the scenes was far more complicated. When Blake saw the skit later, and private insiders say she was stunned and even brought to tears. For someone like Blake, who rarely responds to public controversies and carefully chooses her battles, this hit hard. It wasn't just a joke, it was a reflection of how parts of the industry, and possibly the public, now perceive her. The punchlines didn't just poke fun at her, they referenced very real events she's been navigating recently, from legal issues with media outlets to her reputation for maintaining a tight grip on her family's privacy. But this wasn't just another celebrity moment. What followed was a whirlwind of reactions from fans, from fellow celebrities, from her husband Ryan Reynolds, and even from people behind the scenes at SNL. The internet erupted in a firestorm of opinions. Was it fair? Was it too far? Or was it just another day in the world of ruthless comedy? What makes this moment especially powerful is how deeply personal it became. We often forget that celebrities, especially women, are constantly walking a tightrope between being relatable and being unreachable. Blake has always tried to maintain that balance. But this roast, it shattered something, and not just for her but for many watching, who saw a beloved actress reduced to a punchline that may have crossed the line between satire and cruelty. This video dives into the emotional impact of that roast. Not just the words spoken on stage, but the very real feelings they sparked behind the scenes. We'll explore what was said, how Blake responded, what Ryan Reynolds did after watching the sketch, and how Hollywood and the internet reacted to it all. So sit tight, because what happened that night wasn't just a joke, it became a wake-up call. Let's unpack this moment that stunned fans and left Blake Lively questioning everything. Saturday Night Live has always been known for its edgy comedic sketches, but no one quite expected the level of heat Blake Lively received during her recent appearance, or rather the surprise roast she wasn't even there to witness. Live. It all started as a sketch meant to poke fun at Hollywood stereotypes, but somehow it turned into a targeted segment referencing Blake's career, personal life, and even her recent controversies. The audience laughed as they usually do, but fans online had mixed reactions. Was it all just harmless comedy, or did it cross a line? As Blake watched the sketch later, sources close to her revealed she was left visibly shaken and even teared up, not because of a joke about her acting, but because of a deeper jab related to her private legal challenges and media image. For someone who has worked tirelessly to protect her family and reputation, the timing and tone of the roast felt personal. The sketch opened with a satirical awards show titled "The Most Protected Image in Hollywood," where fictional presenters joked about certain stars trying to control their image through legal influence and PR perfection. One of the characters clearly mimicked Blake Lively's signature style, from the hair to the dress, and even mimicked her past statements about privacy and motherhood. It wasn't subtle. Lines like "she's America's sweetheart until you post a photo she didn't approve" drew a lot of laughter in the studio. But for fans familiar with Blake's ongoing issues with the media and online content, it hit close to home. It wasn't just about comedy anymore, it felt like a message. According to an insider who spoke anonymously, Blake was in disbelief when she first saw the clip. She watched it at home with a close friend and reportedly said, "Is this really how people see me now?" While she's no stranger to public commentary, being the subject of such a mainstream roast on a massive stage like SNL felt different. The friend added she's been under an immense amount of pressure lately, and this felt like a betrayal. Not from SNL itself, but from the public conversation they tapped into. Blake wasn't angry. She wasn't raging. She was just disappointed. That's when she quietly teared up, realizing how public perception was shifting in ways she hadn't anticipated. Ryan Reynolds, Blake's husband and fellow actor, reportedly reached out to Lorne Michaels, the longtime SNL producer, to understand the intent behind the segment. While no formal complaint was filed, Ryan expressed concern about whether the show considered the real-life implications of the jokes. Known for his own comedic wit and long-standing relationship with SNL, Ryan wasn't looking for an apology, but he did want to make sure there wasn't a double standard in how certain celebrities are portrayed. "We all laugh at ourselves," he told a friend, but sometimes the world laughs a little too hard. As clips of the roast went viral, fans on social media began dissecting every line. Some believed the jokes were a necessary takedown of celebrity image control. Others, however, said the jokes felt mean-spirited and unnecessary, especially since Blake hadn't done anything recently to deserve that level of mockery. Twitter and Instagram were flooded with posts like "that wasn't comedy, that was targeting, and this is what happens when a woman sets boundaries, people tear her down for it." The online divide grew, with some users defending SNL's comedic freedom and others demanding more sensitivity in writing sketches about public figures, especially those going through private challenges. Interestingly, several celebrities subtly showed support for Blake. A few posted cryptic messages on Instagram referencing the importance of kindness, empathy, and not tearing others down to get laughs. Though none mentioned SNL directly, it was clear the messages were in response to the sketch. One source said that Blake received messages from fellow actresses who had also been the butt of jokes in the past and who understood how much it can sting, especially when it feeds into a growing negative narrative. Days after the sketch aired, a behind-the-scenes writer from SNL anonymously shared on a podcast that the sketch wasn't meant to personally attack Blake. It was about Hollywood's obsession with image, the writer explained, and we used references from multiple stars to build one character, but the public wasn't convinced. The problem, as many pointed out, was that Blake's real-life image and legal activity were too closely mirrored in the skit for it to be considered abstract or general satire. It was personal, whether intentional or not. The sketch had clearly affected Blake and her family. In the days following the episode, Blake noticeably took a step back from social media. Fans noticed she hadn't posted on her Instagram stories or commented on any of her brand collaborations, something unusual for her, especially with multiple projects underway. Sources close to her say she's taking time to reflect and protect her emotional well-being. She's not going to respond publicly, one friend said. That's not her style. But she's definitely been impacted more than people realize. This incident has reignited the debate about where comedy ends and cruelty begins. SNL has always walked a fine line, and while it's made iconic jokes and sketches, moments like this remind us how real the fallout can be, especially in an age of viral content and media saturation. Should comedy evolve with our increasing awareness of mental health and online harassment? Or is it still fair game to poke fun at celebrities because they signed up for it? Blake Lively's situation might not give us all the answers, but it certainly has everyone talking. Despite the emotional weight of the moment, Blake is reportedly channeling her energy into her family and creative projects. She's working on a new production that allows her more control behind the scenes, something she's long desired. One close associate shared this may have hurt her emotionally, but it's also pushed her to reclaim her narrative, not through drama or lawsuits, but through storytelling, producing, and staying true to who she is. Blake Lively's emotional reaction to the SNL roast wasn't just about a joke. It was about the emotional toll public scrutiny can take, especially when it comes at a time when someone is already under pressure. Whether or not SNL meant to go that far, the impact was real. And for millions watching, it became a reminder even the most glamorous celebrities have boundaries. Even the strongest people have moments when they feel hurt, and even in comedy there's space for empathy.